Hello everyone and welcome to a new review. This time I'm going to try out doing some new audio reviews. I'm going to try and do these as little sort of unscripted, almost reactions to each episode as they air. Mainly because this just makes it a lot simpler to edit. But here we are, kicking off Series 10 of Doctor Who with the pilot. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a pretty solid episode. They do a lot right. It's very much focused on introducing Bill as a character and introducing her to the whole Doctor Who universe. But, I think right off the bat I do have to admit that the story itself is a little bit weak. It doesn't get much of a focus, but that kind of works in the episode's favour, I think. It's very much kind of like how Buffy will do episodes that are sort of solid character-based episodes as opposed to focusing on a monster or anything, and Doctor Who doesn't really do many character-centric episodes, so I think this works really well in the pilot's favour. I think Bill is a great new companion. I think she works really well. Steven Moffat took the time to introduce her to us, unlike Amy Pond, who was kind of all part of the 11th Hour storyline along with introducing Matt Smith's Doctor. And Clara didn't really get a proper introduction in the end. He kind of had to retroactively create this character and her background and everything, which just didn't really work very well. But with Bill, he's very simply set up her character in an almost sort of Russell T Davies-esque episode, and it works really well. It is pretty standalone. I'm not sure if it's as strong a jumping on point as perhaps they want to sell it as. There's perhaps slightly too many references still. I think that perhaps emphasising too much on the photographs on the Doctor's desk of River and Susan was perhaps it was a bit too much, considering they really should have just been little background Easter eggs like the sonic screwdrivers, like the Movellans, the Daleks cameos, which was actually done pretty well. I thought they were going to be a big part of the episode. I thought they were going to be tied to the sort of the oil creature, which it itself was actually done pretty well. I was initially quite worried that they were actually going to do the flood from the waters of Mars. But thankfully they didn't. They sort of created a new creature. It's not completely original, but considering it's sort of a background threat in the episode, it works quite well. I'm not sure what it's actually called, but I really like it. It was a great effect. I mean, it was the same effect as the flood in a way, but sort of the whole the T1000, the sort of the water becoming the Heather body was done pretty well. I think the effects will probably age quite badly. They look okay at the moment, but I can imagine that in years to come they'll probably be able to do a much better job, especially because some shots did look quite rough. But I do understand it's Doctor Who. They don't have a limitless budget, and they are dealing with a water monster, so it is quite difficult to handle. But they had some really creepy scenes, and I think the Heather pilot creature looked very creepy. As a Doctor Who monster, it was really good. I think if there's a real problem I have with it, other than the fact that it sort of lacked the development it needed, was that Heather as a character didn't really get any moments really before she was possessed, so it made it difficult to sort of buy the eventual resolution, her letting go of Bill and Bill letting her go. Which is a bit of a shame, but then again, the episode does work in getting Bill's character across. I think Nardole was a bit of a nothing presence in the episode. He added the odd good line, nice little moment, but yeah, I don't know. I think it was kind of superfluous, but I'm sure the series is going to sort of go back to him and actually do something with him later on. But yeah, I thought Bill was a fantastic character. Pearl Mackie is great in the role. She's really down to earth. She comes up with some great little moments. The Doctor's showing her the TARDIS, and it's almost like she doesn't know quite how to process it all. So he's going on and explaining it's a time machine and everything, and she says, can I go to the toilet? And I just think it's nice little humour moments like that I think the series has lacked for a while. And I think Bill sort of brings the series down a bit, and that works much better than having Clara, who, especially when it got to series 9, just knew everything. And I don't think it felt quite as new then. But Bill has definitely brought that back into the show. And, you know, her dynamic with Peter Capaldi is brilliant. Peter Capaldi himself is always fantastic as the Doctor. They're definitely sort of continuing the sort of the more balanced interpretation of the 12th Doctor that they started in Doctor Mysterio, sort of trying to work around being both sort of funny and quirky, but also moody and serious. And I think Peter Capaldi has really warmed into the role. The writers seem to be more confident in what they're doing with him this year. And yeah, his costumes are still a bit all over the place, which does annoy me a little bit. But, you know, Peter Capaldi himself is always great. The writing is definitely there. And I much more prefer this sort of balanced 12th Doctor. And Capaldi himself just seems to have so much more energy in this episode, just being able to work with a new companion and have a new dynamic to explore. It works really, really well. I think the episode was directed really well for the most part. I think there was the odd moment when it almost went a bit Sherlock. They had this whole like film strip effect. I think it was meant to be. I understand why they did it. I don't think it looked very good. I think it looked a bit too stylized, but maybe it's just because I've just got a bit fed up with it and Sherlock being overused all the time. And I think it felt a bit inconsistent considering how much of the episode was shot with sort of handheld cameras trying to focus more so on the characters. It wasn't as cinematic as Doctor Who has been in the past couple of years. But you know, I really enjoyed the episode. I think while it was a bit sort of structureless, what they actually did in the episode and the way they crafted the narrative around sort of Bill's discovery of everything worked really, really well. Maury Gold's score was really nice. I think there were some great moments in there. He managed to throw in quite a few sort of horror motifs for the oil creature. I mean, what problems the episode has, I think in many ways it should have if it's going to focus on the characters and the introductions, as it is episode 1. I think if the later episodes don't have a strong story or strong monsters, then yeah, there's a problem. But as it's episode 1 and it's introducing everything, I think it's okay and perfectly forgivable. But yeah, I'd probably give the pilot a 7 out of 10. It was a really solid episode, worked really well. I really enjoyed it personally. I think they did some great stuff with it. I loved Bill's entrance into the TARDIS. That was a great moment. I mean, there's so many great moments in the episode. The way it opens, just the conversation between the Doctor and Bill is great. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens to the Doctor and Bill next, what adventures they go on. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, or if you didn't, whatever you think of it, comment below, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you all next time with Smile.